Ivan Demidov continues to prove Roman Rottenberg wrong as he gets a 4-assist, 4 primary assist game. And, well, I guess you could say he's proven Rottenberg right now that he's back on the third line. He's earned his spot. Jesse, he has been on an absolute roll. Not only did he get a 4-point game today, as you're seeing his second primary assist here on the nice goal by the defenseman, he is on a 4-game point streak, and I believe it's 7 or 8 points over his last 4 games, not to mention the fact that he just missed an open net and had this insane spin pass here to the assist. He could have easily had a 1-goal, 4-assist game, Jesse. We got to dive into everything Ivan Demidov, but it's not just him. We also got to go in and talk about Marty St. Louis, as there's been a lot of criticism thrown his way after yesterday's loss to the Rangers, and we also have a note on Justin Barron, his injury status, and the surprisingly good impact he's had for Montreal this year. So stick around on this episode of Habs Digest, and we're going to jump straight into Justin Barron. And Jesse, to me, this changes a lot. Now, Justin Barron, we know he was one of those guys we were saying, hey, maybe he'll be the 7th defenseman. I'm not sure, but he's been playing second pairing and a lot of first pairing even this season. And a recent tweet here by Datapuck says that losing him is a tragedy. It really is. I hope he's getting better. He is day to day as of today's practice with an upper body injury, so things should be okay moving forward. But Jesse, looking at his underlying stats, Montreal's 5v5 offense, with him on, their expected goals for per 60, as you see there, it's 10% below league average. But with him off, it's 21% below league average. So not only, Jesse, has he been looking a little more steady, at least, his offensive impact and also his defensive impact, which if you check the link down below, you'll be able to see, have been honestly a little bit underrated.
Yeah, and the fact that he's kind of helping the team, even defensively speaking, the offense you kind of expect, that's his calling card right there. But to help the game, defensively as well, it's just showing that his game is improving. Like, is it all the way there yet? No, but is he taking solid improvements in his game? Yes, absolutely. And like for a young defender in the game, again, being a defenseman is the hardest position to play, especially at such a young age. You want to see those solid improvements. And when you get those, you say, okay, there's potential here, and this can definitely increase even more. We saw that he was the one laying some big hits kind of previous to this, a side of him that we hadn't really seen before. If you kind of combine that offense with being able to kind of lay some big hits from time to time, that puck carrying ability, obviously there's a huge role for him on the team if he can really kind of do that consistently. So again, we're not playing until Saturday, so that's maybe the silver lining of all of this. He's going to have a couple days. Yes, the hit looked bad. He's probably going to need some time, but hopefully he'll be ready to go by this Saturday.
I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to bring back to the table, because again, like, he has looked a little better. He still looks a little nervous. He's fanning on some passes. Some plays are not ideal, and he makes some passes that are like cross ice, kind of behind players. But overall, you can't deny a lot of the advanced metrics in terms of expected goals for and expected goals against really paint him in a good light. So let us know your thoughts on Barron, and also how on earth he manages to be day to day after that hit. Honestly, unbelievable. Maybe they're just taking precautions, but I hope to see him back on the ice this weekend. We got 2 back-to-back games, so at least maybe getting 1. But we're going to quickly move on, Jesse, to some Marty St. Louis talk. Now, I got to say, the tension is starting to rise. I know we've had discussions about when this day would come, Jesse, and we're like, no, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. And I still think it's okay. But there's a lot of places out there. Oh my gosh, some of the comments on Twitter, on Reddit, on social media, everywhere. By the way, guys, ignore the social media comments, first of all. But Marty St. Louis is getting, I don't know if I want to say hate, but a lot of frustrations are being taken out of him, saying he's not an NHL level X's and O's coach, all this kind of stuff. There was also an article from Dose.ca that I'm going to link down below, basically saying the honeymoon with the fans is over and 2 wins in 7 games is not enough. Those who said the Habs weren't going to lose as many 1-goal games as last year have taken for granted that for the past 10 days, the Habs have been losing by 3 goals or more, and a storm is brewing. They're experiencing their first real moment of fan discontent. They're saying it's not too late to correct some of the shortcomings, but the Habs are not a good team yet. And here's the thing, Jesse, it's like, I don't know. I read all these comments and I just say, slow down. Like, there was also an article from the 4th period kind of talking about how Marty wants to get into hard coaching and, his job is probably not on the line if the Habs have a disappointing season, but those expectations are rising. I do agree. But all in all, I just want to say that, like, Montreal is coming in here with injury after injury. You're losing, you don't have one of your best defensemen in Guhle, right? You have multiple injuries to your defense. You're not even playing a guy like Xhekaj. You don't have Slafkovsky. Line A's out for ages. There's so many moving parts to this. Your decore's a bunch of young offensive defensemen. Like, I get where some of the discomfort is coming from, but I just think the team needs a lot more than this tiny sample size before we can genuinely make an assessment of Coach Marty's long-term future with this team.
And the expectations for Marty St. Louis are rising, and he knew it kind of going into the season, that there's just going to be an increased level of accountability, not only for the players, but for himself as well. That being said, though, is like Martin St. Louis has the full support of Kent Hughes, of company, to really execute his vision for this team. For sure, the injuries is kind of clouding the mix of really, what he can kind of offer. But for sure, that happens for every single team. So at a certain point, we kind of need to judge it off merit. And that's why there's just those increased expectations, which I think is okay. I think that there is still a lot of time to kind of figure it out. But this season is going to be a big one for sure. And like, one thing that we want to see improve, well, there's a couple of things like special teams. Those are showing that those can kind of trend in the positive way so far this season for the large part. So that's a big thing that this team needs to improve on. But I would say even more important than that, Josh, though, is like Martin St. Louis' job isn't on the line, but absolutely the discipline on this team needs to get better by the end of the year. Okay. If that doesn't happen, there is going to be some huge questions. Like if you're Martin St. Louis, like that needs to be up on your board. Like one of the main things that you're looking to address by the end of the season of just taking much fewer penalties, because ultimately, the discipline does come down to the head coach on the team. And some teams, like they know if they take a bad penalty, that they don't want to hear their coach barking at them at the intermission, right? And that sometimes you play a little bit more, on your toes, on pins and needles, but that's okay because that there's that accountability there. And the fact that Marty St. Louis has said it himself is a huge indicator for me of future success. This guy knows how to win. It's about figuring it out, but it's also about taking accountability for himself. And in that quote, from the fourth period, as it shows, like he's going to get into that harder coaching, like a little bit more of, kind of with his team. He says, like start taking a little bit more accountability and really kind of making tougher decisions when it comes to coaching. I find it so important as this team kind of gets a little bit older, you can kind of give them that feedback as they need a little bit more. It's so important to have that positive culture in the room, but obviously I think that accountability level needs to increase as well.
There's a give and take with everything, right? Like a lot of people when Marty was hired, they're like, oh, well, Marty St. Louis, like, I don't know, he doesn't have that much coaching experience. He's got a good mind. He's really good with the young guys as he starts coaching, but we'll see about the X's and O's, and those haven't come along that well yet, but Montreal also, their team hasn't come along that much yet. So, but one thing with Marty is he has proven throughout his whole career as a player that he's been able to learn and adapt in every single situation to become very, very good. And he's learning things, coaching, as we're learning things. This is not only the Habs, first time dealing with this kind of stuff for the young core, it's Coach Marty's first time doing it. And you can't really expect a coach going through this for the first time ever to be perfect at it. So we'll give it some time, but I know a lot of you guys might disagree with that. And I'd love to hear all those comments down below. Discuss with each other, because I think this is a very interesting topic moving forward. But Jesse, we're going to end this video on a high note, because we got to talk about our boy. Oh my gosh, INSANE Demidov's insane. I mean, Rottenberg has moved on from the golden substitute back into the third line, and since Demidov's been back on the third line, he's now in a 4-game point streak, including 4 primary assists that I will show you once again. You saw him at the top of the video, but why not again? He's just proven to be so good, Jesse. He's okay, the team they played against today, not that good. They won like 8-0. However, the shots were pretty similar, I gotta say. But it was really Demidov's creation, and there's more to it than just the assist that I'm showing here. By the way, all these clips are courtesy of Hockey News Hub on Twitter. I will link their profile down below. One of the best spots for KHL highlights. Watching him play, Jesse, the amount of opportunities he creates, not only on these assists, but even in other plays where he's putting passes in high danger areas. He's getting to high danger areas first and then creating chances out of that for his teammates by bringing the defense in. And also, he's getting chances to score goals. This one here is insane. I'm going to play this one again, by the way. He blindly intercepts the pass on his backhand and then blindly, look at this, blindly intercepts the backhand pass, then blindly fires it in front. But it's not even blind. He knew exactly what he was doing. Everything he's doing, again, just looks so professional. To be able to pull this off in the KHL, we talk about this all the time, but another 4-point night, Jesse, is now INSANE Demidov, our boy, is up to 15 points in 19 games. And if you ignore the games that he played under 4 minutes, which you can choose whether to ignore them or not, he's a point-per-game guy.
And Demidov is the one making it happen on these plays. Like 3 out of those 4 assists are basically purely Demidov just making an amazing play and then serving it on a golden platter to his teammate. On that first assist that he got to put up SKA up 1-0. By the way, it's like he is running such a beautiful give and go to them, so much so that he gets a solid chance to score here, kind of taking the net, but then cycles back in the offensive zone. Like some of these give and goes are absolutely phenomenal before wiring a laser pass for just an easy goal for his teammate there. We see that second pass, it's more just about Obviously on the power play, him just getting set up and, making the proper read and dishing off. But again, Josh, like that third assist that he has, like that backhander though, like that awareness, like that's not an easy pass to make on your backhander, crossing two lines there, it's absolutely phenomenal. And like for that fourth assist, like, come on, like he has so much awareness on the ice that he's able to pick off the puck with his back turned to the opposition. Not only that, to then know where his player as well on the ice. This is Hudson level of awareness, vision on the ice of really what's going on. It shows that he's not just a skill, but he has that hockey IQ, which really kind of translates so well to the next level. So, I mean, 4-point streak going on here right now. He is just lighting it up. He knows that Hughes and company, they're coming soon to come visit Russia. So I think he figured he'd get his game firing on all cylinders just to make sure he's ready for when they come.
Is that Luke Clendenning right there? Is he the captain of that team? You can see.
I believe.
Is it Luke Clendenning?
I believe.
I think that's his name. Anyway,
I saw that.
I think he was in the NHL. Anyway, just something I noticed there in the highlight reel. But you're very right. I mean, it's that IQ. It's watching him see the game before it happens, and that's one of those things that is incredibly translatable to the NHL. But again, like you said, Jesse, it's not just that. It's the combination of high level, elite level skill that he has in combination with the IQ that gets him there. And might I also point out that he's currently on pace. I know on pace, whatever, you can make what you want a plus minus, but he's on pace to have a higher plus minus than he did in his 2-point per game MHL season last year. And with a pro team, like I know plus minus is not the be all end all, but what I am saying is that when he's on the ice, that team is doing very, very well. Now on pace for 54 points in 68 games. Guys, let us know your thoughts on this whole Demidov stuff and Marty St. Louis all down below, because we got some highs, we got some lows, and there's going to be a lot more of those coming this week as some more news, rumors, reports are coming out. So stick along with us for the ride, but that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like. That's all I'm gonna ask for. Just leave a like on the video. We'd really appreciate it if you did. It helps us out. And hey, it's always nice to click that little button. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.